Why do you lose this state every day? The very one when it's easy to work. When you don't have to fight with yourself. When your brain itself leads you forward, without laziness, without rollbacks, without 5 more minutes. You don't even notice how you lose it. You just take your phone, scroll through the feed, and that's it. The flow is gone. But it's in the first minutes after waking up that you can turn on the maximum productivity mode. How see below. Have you ever had this happen? You get down to work, and suddenly time ceases to exist? Hours merge into minutes. Thoughts do not hang around somewhere in the back of your mind, but clearly, like the hands of a metronome, beat out the rhythm of work. You do not try. Do not force yourself. Do not fight procrastination. You just do it. And it seems easy. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called this a state of flow, a moment when action and awareness become one. Not just concentration, not just discipline. Something deeper. When the brain stops sabotaging you with questions like maybe later, and why do this at all, but simply turns on. Completely. But here's the paradox. The more we try to pull ourselves together, the stronger the resistance. Morning productivity turns into a fight with a pillow, deep work into switching between tabs, and self-development into a feeling of guilt for what was not done. Scientific research shows that people who regularly experience flow are not just more productive. They are happier. Not because they have fewer problems, but because their brains know how to enter this state. Without strain. Without endless reminders on the calendar. So why do some people fall into flow as soon as they start, while others spend years on the threshold, never crossing it? And most importantly, can this be learned? Not abstract time management techniques, but something more important. The answer is yes, but it does not start with plans or motivation, but from the first minute after waking up. What does it really mean to be in flow? It's not about working a lot, and not even about working quickly. You can slog for 10 hours straight and not feel a drop of this state. Or you can write a text in half an hour, which you then reread with the thought, did I really come up with this? Flow is when the complexity of the task and your skills meet at one point. Not too easy, otherwise it's boring. Not too difficult, otherwise it's scary. Like on a bicycle, if you're riding on a flat road, your brain switches off. If there's a cliff ahead, it paralyzes. But when it's a little downhill, when the wind is in your face and you need to tense up a little to keep your balance, that's it. Csikszentmihalyi studied this for decades. Artists, athletes, scientists, they all describe the same thing. Moments when you stop thinking about the action and just become it. Fingers find the right keys on their own. Words form sentences. The body moves without unnecessary commands. But there's a catch. The brain doesn't enter the flow at the click of a button. It needs conditions. The first minute after waking up is silent sabotage. Most morning rituals are a deception. 5 minutes of social media, quickly check your email, at least the news, and now you're no longer in the flow, but in a garbage whirlpool of other people's information. The cognitive load increases even before you get out of bed. Procrastination is not laziness. It's an instinctive reaction to overload. The brain sees a mountain of tasks and prefers to bury its head in the sand. And then we wonder, why am I not doing anything? But what if we try differently? Not force yourself, but not hinder yourself. You haven't even opened your eyes yet, and your brain is already playing an old record. I need to check my phone. I need to remember what's on my work list. I need. And now you're no longer a person, you're a to-do list on legs. But the flow is born in silence. Not in meditation with candles, although that works too, but in a simple pause. In that very first minute after waking up, when you can just not grab onto thoughts right away. One experiment, approximate data, show that people who start their day with 60 seconds of conscious breathing are 40% less likely to procrastinate. Not because they have become more disciplined. They have simply given their brain a chance not to switch to panic mode. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi discovered something curious. Flow is more likely to occur when the task seems almost like a game. Not I have to, but I wonder if it will work. Try replacing. I have to write a report. How quickly can I find 3 non-obvious conclusions in this data? Cleaning. How many objects can I put in their places in one song? The brain loves such micro-challenges. They do not scare, but draw you in. Like a level in a video game, difficult enough to be curious. Where motivation hides. We are used to thinking that inspiration should come first, and then action. But brain research shows the opposite. First a micro-action, then a wave of engagement. You don't wait until you want to work. You take the first step, a minimal one. Open a document. Type your first sentence. Brush one tooth. And suddenly you discover you're already in the process. Flow is not a marathon, but a series of sprints. We imagine a productive day as a continuous smooth line. But the brain does not work that way. Even grandmasters have waves of concentration, 40 to 50 minutes of deep immersion, then a decline. Csikszentmihalyi called it the rhythm of flow. Here's what it looks like in practice. First 5 minutes. Oh my God, why did I start doing this? Next 20. It seems to be starting to work out. Peak around the 30th minute. What if I try this? Oh, it's already been an hour. But most people give up in the first phase, before they get to the sweet stuff. Because they don't understand that resistance at the beginning is not the enemy, but part of the process. Like a warm-up before a workout. What kills flow the fastest? Multitasking. Even a quick check of a message is like slamming on the brakes at 100 kilometers per hour. It takes the brain 20+ minutes to get going again. Perfectionism. Flow lives in a zone of good enough, not perfect. When you start endlessly polishing details, it evaporates. Fear of the start. That's why the first minute of the day is so important. If the morning starts with a feeling of, I'm already lagging behind, the flow will not come at all. How to catch the wave again. When you feel like you're falling behind, do the most counterintuitive thing. Get up and walk around. 90% of people try to squeeze through force. But sometimes the best way to regain concentration is to lose it for a while. As Csikszentmihalyi himself said, flow is not a state that can be maintained. It is a dance in which you sometimes need to let go of your partner in order to continue moving. Do you know what the main irony is? We spend a lot of time looking for secrets of productivity, when the answer has always been simple. Happiness is not in the result, but in the process. Not in what you did, but in how you did it. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi discovered more than just a psychological phenomenon. He showed that the brightest moments in life are when you forget that you should do something. When work becomes a game. When even the fatigue afterwards is pleasant, like after a good workout. But here's the paradox. To catch this flow, you need to stop catching it. Not force the brain to concentrate, but create conditions where concentration will arise on its own. Like the morning light that does not need to be turned on. Just open the curtains. Maybe our whole problem with procrastination and laziness is just the wrong approach. We shout at ourselves, pull yourself together, wimp, when we should quietly ask, what would you be interested in doing now? The last question is perhaps the most important. What if true discipline is not an iron will, but the ability to find joy in doing? It is not you who chase the flow, but it comes to you when you finally stop running.